quick announcement, guys. Going to have a Throwback Men's Conference premiere on Bond YouTube channel because there is no Fallen State episode today. I do believe that's the case. So I think that's the plan. Very cool. What's up, guys? It is Friday, March 4th, 2022 AD, Anno Domini. And it's 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time. That's right, no new Fallen State episode today. Gonna have a fun loosey-goosey Friday show for you, I think. I will tell you about my upcoming debate appearances. I am scheduled to be on Hippy Dippy Roundtable tonight. Very cool. And of course, Modern Day Debate tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 Eastern. Hippy Dippy is 8 Eastern today, which is 5 Pacific, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. It conflicts with the Anchor Baby's new show. Anchor Baby is the competitor to Dylan Burns. So make sure you catch Anchor Baby's new show. Also going to talk about, I may talk about that funny Black Mama versus Ron DeSantis. Oh my gosh. You may have seen it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. If you didn't, make sure you check that out. Excellent. Get it off your chest Friday. The Don't Say Gay bill down in Florida. There are blind, brainwashed minions, you know, the army of evil, brainwashed children of Satan, young people, protesting to brainwash the kids, to pretend that wrong is right. And right is wrong. So sick. And also Kanye West, he's beefing with that his ex-wife or wife's new boyfriend guy who's younger than her. And I think he's justified in his beefing. Although I don't know about everything that he's doing. But he is justified to have a beef, right? Because that's adultery. But anyway, guys, I will all that and your calls. Let's get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this original The Hake Report theme song, courtesy of AJ Gallardo. Very excellent. During the week prior to this, we play the Trevor Wesley one. We're gonna have a fun loosey-goosey Friday show. You can call in.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Stephen Will says, I learned this on guitar. Wow. Impressive. It's a tough song to learn, by the way. The Hake Report theme song. Perhaps the best song to learn. Right? So, how you guys doing? Shout out to the D Live crew. Can you see me? I'm also on YouTube and presumably Facebook and, of course, Odyssey, ODYSEE.com/@the-Hake-Report and other platforms, Twitter. And audio feed, the live audio feed. I hear there's, as I mentioned, I hear there's no new Fallen State episode today, noon today, Pacific. But given that it is Women's History Month, we have our men's conference, a segment going to premiere on from last August, Men's History Month. Very cool. So that's on Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel that it should be premiering. Also, I'm participating in the Hippy Dippy Roundtable. Here's my announcement, guys. The Hippy Dippy Roundtable tonight and Modern Day Debate tomorrow night. Today is Friday, March 4th, 2022 AD, from 5 to 8:30, 3.5 hours. Whew. Will Anchor Baby's new show last that long too? I don't know. It might. Which is 8 to 11:30 Eastern. This will be live. My hippy dippy round table appearance will be live on Dylan Burns TV on Twitch. Shout out to Dylan Burns. He's been on my show once before. I've been on the hippy dippy round table twice before. Tonight we talk about Ukraine aid. Should the U.S. be sending aid to Ukraine and or weapons? And Biden's lame State of the Union address. You can look for it later, edited on the Dylan Burns TV YouTube channel. It doesn't go live up there, but it will be uploaded shortly afterwards, I think. And it does indeed conflict with Anchor Baby's new show. Dylan Burns is Nicolas's competitor. And so if you like, go watch Anchor Baby's new show live and then look for this later. Or if you're one of those inefficient multitaskers, you content fiends, which I don't encourage, but you do you. You can do that. You can watch both. This will be Hake's third appearance on the Hippy Dippy Roundtable. And I have that up on my thehakereport.com/appearances, okay? And I should be on The Crucible next week, by the way. The Crucible, talking about Zionism. Very fun topic, right? Zionism. Who's here for Israel? Should we support Ukraine with aid and / military aid is the Hippy Dippy subject. What did you think of Sleepy Joe's State of the Union speech? I'm going to be talking with Mindwaves TV, Carter.music. These are liberals. Mindwaves TV is a 27-year-old bi / pan streamer from Yuma, Arizona. Carter.music is a musician / leftist from the presumably Pacific Northwest, PNW. I think that's what that stands for, Pacific Northwest. That's up in Washington or Oregon area, maybe NorCal. I don't know if that counts. Pixels Mixel is a she/her, a young lady, I think, from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. These are my opponents in the debate. Cam Higbee is a conservative TikToker. I think he's involved with Prager, by the way. Dennis Prager, the great Dennis Prager. I've talked with him before. Bryce Live, BRYS Live. He's a Twitch streamer who knows poli-sci and econ. And Indivisceral. And also, I'm Really Important is another guy. He's a clever liberal. I've debated before. Indivisceral is an atheist, anarchist, capitalist. So, shout out to the Dylan Burns TV and his producer, Danabo, and the Hippy Dippy Roundtable. Tomorrow, modern day debate. Is there a war on men? Yes, of course there is. It's a war on men. It's a war on children. And the dumb females don't realize that they are embracing their own enemies, which is most of the females. It's true. We all know it. That's why they needed women voting to get these so-called progressive politicians into office. Without the women, I don't know if we would have so many. I don't think that we would. According to a study, I think, by the great John R. Lott Jr., Ph.D., of crimeresearch.org, I think, crime prevention research, women voting has been one of the prime factors in the decline of America. I call it the decline. So you can see Modern Day Debate's YouTube channel, Twitch channels, also audio podcast, Modern Day Debate. I've been on there many times. And I'm going to be debating against Brenton Langle. Cool, huh? Brenton Langle has been on my show, and he's like this, I think he might have been raised Christian, but now he's Buddhist. He's a liberal. He's like pro-Antifa, I think. Definitely pro-Black Lives Matter. And I debated him last time on Modern Day Debate. Does Black Lives Matter do more harm than good? What a mess. But I have all that information up on thehakereport.com. So, you know what? Let me deal with this. Let let me get to a call or two, guys, right off. You can call in 888-775-3773. I am wearing my Cool t-shirt. Cool. That is available through the Hake Report Teespring store. Teespring.com/stores/the Hake Report. Louis in Idaho. Wow. What's up, Louis? Are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, are you on a speakerphone? You sound kind of far away, and you sound like you're on a speakerphone.
No, I just took it off speaker.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about Stephen Grover Cleveland being a president who was skipped by Benjamin Harrison. But can't Trump become president again and again? 2 consecutive, right?
Oh, really? You're saying that you think that Trump? Well, Trump can certainly become president if he runs and gets elected in 2024.
The presidency was stolen.
Don't say that. Don't say that on my show. I mean, don't say that on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Everyone knows. Okay.
Are you?
But he could become president again and again.
You think so? He can have 3 terms?
I'm asking.
I have no idea. I don't think so.
I'm asking because you know what? It's 2 consecutive, isn't it? No, am I wrong?
I don't believe so. I think it's just 2 terms only.
No, I don't know about that.
I don't know either, but that's what I have always thought.
All right.
Yeah. I don't think that they made the 2-term limit until FDR, that enemy of America, the communist, who served like 3 terms. I think he served himself and his evil satanic ideology for like 3 terms. Like 12 years, I want to say.
I don't know.
So you mentioned Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland, I don't know if you said Grover Cleveland?
Yeah. Stephen Grover Cleveland.
Stephen who?
Stephen Grover Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
And he was in between was Benjamin Harrison.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, but that predates
22 and 24. What I'm saying is, Trump could be, 40, 46 and 48 or something like that, right?
He's 45. He's the 45th president, and he can be the 47th president.
Okay, he can be 47th and 48th, I think.
Okay.
I'm asking, though.
I don't know.
Let's talk to chat.
Robert Lee in the chat says, no, only 2 terms.
Two consecutive terms, Robert Lee? I know Robert Lee. I know Robert Lee and Chrissy and all that. And,
nice.
Yeah. I know a lot of people in chat.
Nice. Well, I appreciate it, Louis. It's good to hear from you, I guess.
It's just a question, and I want it to be out there,
It's a fair question. I'm pretty sure that Cleveland was the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive presidential terms, says Uncle Ted 88. But I don't think that he served 3 terms. I think that he only served 2.
He served 2, but not consecutive,
Right, yeah. Well, thank you, man.
The law is the law, all right? Whatever, man. All right, thank you, Hake.
All right, bye. I wish you well. Let me also get to Rick in Maine. Wants to talk about the Ahmaud Arbery case. Blah, 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 blah. Rick in Maine, how are you doing?
Not bad today, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
I say hello to you and everybody on the chat.
Yes.
Hey, I've been looking at this situation with those guys. They were unjustly charged, number one.
You're talking about the guys who chased down Ahmaud Arbery for a citizen's arrest that some say was illegal, but I don't know.
No, they're not illegal. They are perfectly legal.
With the way that they conducted it, was it perfectly legal?
that was perfectly legal.
You know, I think
And
that
I'll say this.
I think the legality of it was unclear. In which case, I think you have to presume, you have to kind of leave it, I don't know. Don't you have to err on the side of innocence when it's unclear?
What you have to do is you have to hold that individual until law enforcement shows up. Then they take the statements from all parties involved. Person is taken into custody and held until things are cleared up. But this is the point that I want to make, James.
Okay.
Anybody, I don't care what ethnicity you are, I don't care what your intentions were at the time, grabbing somebody's firearm is totally asinine.
Yeah.
That's asking to get hurt.
Yep.
So when that incident took place, it was Arbery's problem because he didn't stop and conform to what he was being asked to do, and he grabbed that muzzle or near the muzzle of that shotgun, and he got himself killed. That's his problem. Now, the court apparently did not see it that way because of outside influence.
Yeah.
And therefore, these guys have been imprisoned for no just cause. A person in this country can hold anybody that has committed a crime at bay until law enforcement shows up.
Yeah, I think that they had reasonable suspicion. I think that their suspicion was quite reasonable. Yeah. Quite reasonable. But I don't think that they actually witnessed. I don't know that they actually witnessed anything. So it made it kind of gray. But you have to err on the side of innocence. I'm pretty sure you have to err on the side of innocence when it's unclear.
But when he battled back and he didn't conform to their request, until law enforcement got to that scene to clear up the facts, that to me takes an admission of guilt of something. You know, so he battled back, grabbed that individual's firearm, and he got himself killed.
I don't know if it's an admission of guilt, but it certainly adds to the suspicious behavior, and it justifies self-defense, in my opinion.
Well,
People say that, okay, C-Sal in the chat says they kind of set themselves up for failure. The guy hadn't even committed a crime, at least that we know of.
That they know of.
And I'm sure he's sure that he was there scoping the neighborhood, but the media will side with the black man, guilty or not. Yeah.
Until they played the video of him walking around inside this unfinished dwelling. So people just don't walk around inside of unfinished dwellings without a reason. You know, they're either going to try to take something from that location or they're going to try to sleep at that location. Either way, it's going to be illegal.
It's illegal anyway to trespass, which is something that the FBI's done raids on people, no-knock raids on people who have trespassed in the Capitol, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway.
Well, that situation there, I'll only say this to that situation there, James. Anything in this country that is paid for by the taxpayers, you pay your rent, you have the rent, or you pay for your home, you have the home until said contract is canceled either by death or by whatever. If you own something by paying for it, which the taxpayers in this country pay for everything in that state capital, including the occupants' paychecks.
Yeah.
So, that being said, Government does not own anything because they don't pay for anything. The taxpayers of this country pay for it. Therefore, who does it belong to?
Us. We the people.
So when people say they were trespassing, you can't trespass on land or property that you own.
Yeah. That's why they also had to say they were parading and they were, what were they doing? They were disrupting a congressional activity or something like that. Terrible.
Yeah, something that should be done a whole lot more as far as I'm concerned, the way that they're running this country, destroying this country. But that's going to be enough for me for today. I appreciate your time, James.
Well, thank you, Rick. And we have to stay cool-headed.
Clear that up.
The whites especially have to, and the blacks too, if they want to live, and the whites if they don't want to go to jail unjustly. Stay cool-headed because you're not going to get reasonable justice. We've seen this over and over again. So I think that those guys who followed Ahmaud Arbery, although I appreciate they were looking out for their community.
Right.
I mean, look at the results. It was ill-advised because now they got themselves through this lynching that has happened to them. Wow. Kangaroo court anyway, and a public
court, right?
Yeah, they got themselves life in prison. So chin up, Kings. I wish you well. Pray for those guys. What's his name? Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, the father, and Roddy Bryan. Pray for them. And pray for the so-called family of blah, 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 because they are evil. Yeah. They are evil. So wrong. Anyway, thank you, Rick.
He was raised by his parents, so thus far it's a reflection of his parents.
His mother, anyway. Yeah. Well, thank you, Rick.
All right,
appreciate
buddy.
it.
Take her easy.
All right. Take care.
Talk with you later.
Bye. Before I get back to calls, I have more callers who want to talk about Breonna Taylor, blah, 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 and Ahmaud Arbery, blah, 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 blah. Some super chats first, though. Kyle B. with the super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Hake, we really need to get the word out about the rank choice voting. Everyone is afraid of a repeat of what happened in the 1992 election. But the only way to drain the swamp is by third-party voting. So says Kyle B. Rank choice voting. So you say you're presented with more than one choice for president, say you're presented with the 1992 election was after the first term or the end of the first term of Bush the daddy, right? Bush the daddy he was a one-term president. Some say it's because he said, read my lips, no new taxes. And then he did new taxes. What are you thinking? So he got ousted by Bill Clinton, the quote-unquote first black president. But the vote was split because the late great, is he great? Was he great? Ross Perot, was he a billionaire at that time? Ross Perot ran for president, and he got quite a bit of the vote. Quite a bit. Did he get something like 15%? I was a kid at this point. I was going into third grade, I think, and Bill Clinton won. Because I remember in third grade, I wrote an essay why I would not have voted for Bill Clinton. And I talked about he's for abortion and he's for the gay agenda. I may not have used those exact words, but he was an evil person, a liar, just an evil person. Democrats, present day, evil. Most rhinos, too, including Bush the daddy, was probably evil. Bush the daddy, I don't know if the Bushes even voted for Trump. Did any of them, except for George P. Bush? Maybe George P. Bush, the one who's part Mexican, out of, I think, Texas, and he's running for the state attorney general, I think. He might have voted for Trump. So there's one decent Bush in the family, I guess, maybe. But so I guess rank choice, you can say, oh, my first pick is Ross Perot. My second pick is Bush the daddy. I think that's what Kyle B is referring to. Third party voting. Maybe so, Kyle B. I don't know if that's the only way to drain the swamp. We definitely need to hold steadfast. I may talk a little bit about this guy named Joe Kent, who was running for Congress, I think, out of the Pacific Northwest, like Oregon or Washington. And he pretended like he's for, the America First guys, the Groypers. He talked about how they censored Nicholas J. Fuentes, the guy who founded AFPAC, right? And then he was like, I disavow his position on Israel or something like that. And then he said, I ignored his invitation to AFPAC. He's just kind of turning on the guy, just kind of being lame. We have to be inclusive. Include everybody. This religious stuff, this religious and racial stuff, it's divisive. It's too divisive. And so he's just kind of being lame. I may talk about that later. But those America First guys, I think they're pretty influential. They may be a force. Fresh Prince with the super chat. James Hake is on fire. Keep up the good work, James. Your courage and honesty are much needed and much appreciated, sir. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's kind. Anyway, man. Before I get to calls, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour. Let me talk about this opioid crisis. You know how disproportionately the whites are dying of these opioids, and it's kind of like how disproportionately the blacks were into the crack. They were selling it, they were overdosing on it, they were killing one another over it, and now it's the whites who are under attack, I guess, spiritually under attack. But the world, which is the evil people in the world, is pretending like they're fighting against this evil. No, they're not fighting against this evil. They are evil people fighting evil with, in my opinion, not valid tactics, I guess. I don't know. It's not a valid fight. Commie Nonsense Network, CNN reports OxyContin maker, Purdue Pharma, and the Sackler families. Those are big pharma. They use these words: big pharma, big tech, big Hollywood, big media. I don't know, big government. It was a Breitbart thing, I think. But anyway, Purdue Pharma and the Sackler families reached a settlement with a group of states this week that would require the Sacklers to pay out as much as $6 billion to states and to so-called victims of the opioid crisis. Now, there are perhaps innocent people who could be characterized fairly as victims, but I don't know. I don't know about this. They're trying to characterize drug addiction as a health issue when it's really a at root more than that, much more than that. It's a responsibility issue, and we have a lack of responsibility. We have a victim class problem. They're trying to turn whites into victims, into feeling like victims. So wrong, in my opinion. If approved, and that's if it's approved by a federal bankruptcy court judge, this new agreement was reached after 8 states and the corrupt Washington, D.C. Are they involved in anything good, Washington, D.C.? Appealed a previous deal. This agreement is civil, whatever that means, not criminal, I guess. Does not provide protection to the Sackler families from any future liability, meaning they can be sued all over again for any future mess that happens with this, what they call the opioid crisis. Purdue Pharma declared bankruptcy, according to Commie Nonsense Network, in 2019, putting on hold thousands of lawsuits filed against them. Wow. Wow. So it's kind of reminds me, maybe it's not as outrageous, of the dumb, I use this phrase a lot, but dumb, evil, anti-gun people, the so-called families, relatives of the victims of that school shooting over in Newtown, Connecticut, I want to say. They sued Remington. Remington is a rifle maker, a gun maker. And Remington advertised their guns. And because they advertised their guns to be about like manhood, manliness, they made that a justification for holding Remington responsible for Adam Lanza, a mentally ill, messed up, recently came off his drug brain-altering medication, right? I think. 20-something years old, early 20s, I want to say, living with his mother who divorced his father. His father was 2 years isolated from his son, tried to get in contact with his son and failed. And the mother owned the gun, right? And the son, Adam Lanza, shoots the mother with her own gun, I think, and then goes and kills her. And so he hates his mother. Separated from his father, just as JLP says. Hey, can you say dumb but not stupid on air? LOL. I know, I'm sorry, kids. Adults, parents. I'll try to set a better example. And he kills a bunch of students, kids, at that school, and some other people. This is where the mother worked. I don't even know if he attended that school previously. He's in his 20s now, elementary school. I mean, he was in his 20s at this time. And they blame that. The mother? Did the manly advertising by Remington inspire the mother to buy this gun that Adam Lanza used? They make good shotguns, says Zurich. They're after the ammunition, says Bradley, not really the guns. Oh, yeah, true. Anything that they can do. So for me, that's kind of similar to this. Going after the pharmaceutical companies, I think, are much less, to use the liberal word, ethical, moral, say, than the gun makers. The gun makers, in my view, totally innocent. These huge pharmaceutical companies, they're kind of in bed with the government, and now the government's trying to distance themselves from the pharmaceutical companies and throw them under the bus. But if you can blame makers, the suppliers, shouldn't you also be blaming the government? In my opinion. Hey, this is a children's program. So shameful, in my opinion. But from 1999, according to CNN, to 2019, going back to this opioid crisis, nearly 500,000 people died from overdoses. 500,000. So 500,000 people died from overdoses in 20 years, 1999 to 2019, involving opioids. And I say, whose fault is that? Yeah, a lot of these opioid drugs are way more potent than they need to be. A lot of people are eager to avoid pain. You know, I got a beta back, but I don't take anything for it. At least not at this point. I don't want to end up, hopefully, like Georgia, Florida, crying out for his mama or the girlfriend whom he called mama, the white girlfriend. Both of them hooked on those opioids. I don't want to end up like that. Hopefully I can stretch and get my rest, eat right, exercise. So those 500,000 people who died over those 20 years included prescription drugs. And that's such a mind-boggling number. 20 years, it's a long time. In America, that's a huge population, bigger than we probably know because of the illegals. And the number of overdoses, I have no concept for what that means. 500,000 people died in 20 years of overdoses involving opioids. Does that mean anything to you guys? I don't know. But that includes prescription drugs and illicit opioids. And those, we all know, are Chinese fentanyl, oftentimes, right? This is what we've heard anyway. from reliable sources, those drugs destroyed so many families. I think that the families were already destroyed, Lisa, and they were already weak, let's say. And the weakness was exposed by the drug, and the drug just accelerated the destruction. But yeah, I get your point. Chinese fentanyl that came across the Mexican border is these illicit opioids. Thanks, rhinos and Democrats. Sue yourselves. How about you give up your paychecks? The government stays paid anyway. They don't care. Sleepy Joe Biden. Ooh, we can take down cancer. Ooh, my son died of a brain cancer thing. Feel sorry for me. So anyway, that's that as far as the report for the so-called opioid crisis. It is crazy. Lisa is right. Those drugs destroyed so many families. You'll hear about these mothers who say, oh, my son, we didn't even know he was on drugs, and then the son overdoses. Takes very little to overdose on these things. It's crazy. These pills, like it's enough to kill a horse. And a horse is big. That's so nuts. Taking Care of Business says the laws are very restrictive for prescribing opioids. And Ragnar 0321, referring to this, this attack on the guns, to buy ammunition in California is unbelievably ridiculous and inconvenient. And it goes in the DOJ database. Yeah. And that's pretty recent. Taking Care of Business, referring to these opioid users. I have no sympathy for the users. Opioids are safe if taken properly. It's the people who abuse them who overdose. If they didn't get prescribed opioids, they'd be out on the street scoring smack or some other drugs. What a mess. People say pot is a gateway drug. Is it a gateway both ways? Is it a gateway in and a gateway out? What a mess. You know what I mean? A gateway out? Because some people say, oh, I took pot. Or I took such and such whatever, I don't know, to get off the harder drugs. I don't know. Not my area of expertise. Let me get to Freddy in New Mexico. Freddy, how are you doing? Are you there? Come off of mute. Freddy going once. Freddy going twice. Let me get to William in California. William, thank you for holding. How are you doing?
Oh, hey, man, how you doing?
Okay, you're coming in very quiet. I can barely hear you.
Oh, hold on.
What in the world?
How's that?
That's better. Thank you.
How's that?
Much better. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be, I'm just listening most of the time now, but I knew we were going to taper over to your show about these subjects, and they're going to probably talk about them for the next, probably all day, the rest of your show and other shows. But case in point, Georgia, Florida was full of fentanyl and methamphetamine. Confirmed.
Say again? Methamphetamine?
What is the new drug out?
Oh, yeah, he did have meth.
He had a cocktail of a mix.
Yeah.
Okay. The other one, what's her name? You were just talking about her.
Breonna Taylor, blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 was selling dope. And
was she actually doing that, or was her?
Yeah,
she was helping her boyfriend.
She's dropping money off to the trap house, picking up money, dropping the drugs, picking up money, and getting dope out of them. I think they were going across state lines. They had some stuff being mailed, so that's like really illegal.
She was not charged with anything at this point,
because
but they definitely had reason to search her apartment. I don't know if they found anything though.
It probably wasn't nothing in there but cash. But she was guilty Freddie Gray was guilty. Michael Brown was guilty. Trayvon Martin was guilty. And who was this young man on Jesse's show earlier talking about he's ran into the Klan? You have never, young man, you need to listen. This is the part where you need to listen to these shows, learn something. You have never met a Klan.
Right.
Never. I hope he's listening. Never. And I don't even know you.
He's pro-black. I don't know if he listens to my show.
I don't
know if he
need
can
him
stand.
to be pro anything for me. I'm a black man telling him to sit down. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If 70-something-year-old people haven't seen Klans members, what is he talking about? And
Right.
they don't need him to take up for them.
Such a boogeyman reference. The Klan.
I don't
Ooh,
like
the Klan.
that.
It's ridiculous.
I don't really like that, James. And he's talking about names and all that. I can say anything I want about anybody.
Yeah.
And so can you, and so can you. Who is he? You never met a Klansman. Ever. I guarantee it.
Right.
And I don't want to take up your time too much, man, but I just wanted to get that out there. It's not too many blacks in this country that can say they met a Klansman.
Right.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, William. It's good to hear from you.
All right, man. Take care, man. Enjoy your weekend.
Okay. You as well. Take care. Let me get to Rick in Hampton, Virginia. He wants to talk about Ahmaud Arbery, blah, 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 blah. Rick in Hampton, how are you?
James, what's going on, my brother? How you feeling?
Feeling fine. Got my beta back going, flaring up a little bit. Maybe I exercised a little too hard or stretched a little too hard, not sure. But doing fine. Appreciate it.
Good. That's good, man. At least you're staying in shape, man.
Yeah.
When we exercise, we fight against this COVID, believe it or not, man, when you exercise. Which, Falsy's a leprechaun. It's not going to tell people that.
Stay close to your phone, Rick.
Okay, can you hear me now? What about now, James?
It's coming in and out a little bit. It's a little quiet, but let's try it. Let's do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, work. You know, Ahmaud Arbery, most blacks, they think that the guys in the truck got out and pointed their guns toward Ahmaud Arbery. No, he didn't. He went around and grabbed that man's gun, and he was hitting his son, and his father shot him. Now, what happened?
No, the son shot him, but you're right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I had to burn. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
the father did not shoot.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see whether they pointed the gun at him or not. I don't know if that would be.
Turned. They was about to approach him. Now the son had the shotgun. That was the father.
No, the son had the shotgun. Yeah, the son had the shotgun.
Okay.
Yep, and he grabbed Ahmaud, grabbed at the shotgun and was punching Travis McMichael in the face.
That's right. He sure was.
Yep.
And then the father shot him. And
No. The father did not shoot at all. The son shot him.
Oh, the son. Okay.
In self-defense, as they were fighting, the son shot him.
Oh, okay. I thought the father shot him from the back of the truck.
Nope. No.
Oh, see, I had that misunderstood. I thought when he was fighting, because he couldn't, I don't know how he got the gun from Ahmaud, but
right. When you grab the barrel of a gun, as somebody pointed out, you take your life in your hands.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, he shouldn't have went up. What I would have tried to do was let Ahmaud Arbery was doing some shady stuff anyway. I would have tried to de-escalate it. That's what I tried to do. You ain't got no gun. You're already outgunned, so I would have tried to de-escalate it. He didn't try nothing at all. He went straight for his gun, but you hear a lot of blacks say, well, he was nervous. Well, he probably was nervous because he was doing something he wasn't supposed to do, and when they followed him, he was nervous.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe in that. And I don't believe them guys statistically went over there just to run Ahmaud Arbery down to shoot and kill him. I don't believe that was their intentions at all.
Yeah, no, they wanted to do a citizen's arrest. They didn't. They had the guns because, you want to have overwhelming force, but apparently that was not enough to intimidate Arbery into compliance. He apparently he had a death wish, or he was just crazy, and he got himself killed. So,
that's right. You don't grab somebody's gun unless that's the last resort. You try and de-escalate.
Right, but that's too much to ask for an erratic black who has a history of acting erratic around armed men, including cops.
He nailed his own nail to the coffin.
I remember seeing video footage from like months prior, maybe a year prior, a couple of years maybe, in which a cop showed up where he was supposedly recording himself rapping or something inside a like a little park strip in a field, and the cop goes up to him and searches him, and then the cop walks over to his vehicle and starts to peek inside the peek through the window, and Ahmaud Arbery runs and jumps up at the guy, and the cop has to put his hand on Ahmaud's chest to keep him away. I played that footage back when this thing came out, when this thing was going viral. And so that just shows how out of control this young male was. Not a man.
But you know what? The way as always, the way the media does, you know, the media, like you said earlier on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, they are really trying to destroy white people, and you know, and blacks don't realize they're being truly used.
Right.
And even with the Supreme Court Justice, Joe Biden just nominated another black female that's going to help push the gay, homosexual agenda. That's all he did. They don't care about no Constitution. They don't even need that for things. All they want to do is whatever's at stake. If it's gay rights, we vote for it. We don't need no Constitution. That's why liberals want to stack the courts with their judges.
Yep.
I thank God Trump got in there and put about 3 of them in there.
Yeah. Although they weren't
God, he did.
Unfortunately, we didn't get good ones. I mean, the best ones.
You don't like Kavanaugh?
No, I mean, he's probably the best one out of the 3 that Trump picked, right? But even he's pretty weak and soft. They're no Clarence Thomas, I'll tell you that. Clarence Thomas is a pretty solid guy, and they're not even Justice Alito. Alito is in there. I think that he's a pretty decent guy too. And they're definitely not Antonin Scalia, the late great Antonin Scalia, the Italian, who was also a pretty solid conservative, constitutional Supreme Court justice. But these guys are rhino-friendly, and gal, rhino-friendly.
Wow. So what do you think going to happen, in Texas, they had a primary, and is Beto O'Rourke running for governor down there?
Yeah. It's terrible.
Oh, God. Go ahead.
Hopefully the rhino wins. I am endorsing the rhino. Yes, vote for the rhino.
In that case, I would vote for Mr. Abbott.
Yeah, vote for Greg Abbott. We can push him around. And by we, I mean the Texans and, perhaps even fellow Americans can push him around. They did push him. Maybe it was because it was an election year, but he went a little bit more conservative. According to the news.
For the border. I mean, he fought for the border. I mean, he really fought for border security.
Which, in my opinion, I think that was just
a show.
Yeah, for show. I don't think that he's such a solid guy. You know. In fact, I know he's not. He's a rhino. But anyway.
Wow, I'll tell you what, man. Only solid guy I see right now is DeSantis so far.
Yeah, I like him.
Trump, for some reason, I don't think Trump going to run. I don't know why, but I don't think he's going to run for some reason. I don't know why, but I don't think Trump's going to run. What you think, James? I know it's too far off.
Yeah, I can't predict.
I
cannot predict. I don't know. Yeah.
That's probably the safe way to say it. You don't know. But I'm telling you, James, this is crazy, man. It's like everybody's in me, like the liberal. Now, whose side are you on with the Russian-Ukraine situation? Whose side are you on?
America's side. But I am certainly more, I think everybody can tell, I am somewhat sympathetic, although it's ignorant, to the Russian position. Partly because they're going so hard for Ukraine, it's tricking me into going pro-Russia. But I think that I've, for a long time, had some level of respect for Putin. He seems...
I like Putin, too.
Yeah. I don't know if he's evil or not, but I do know that the people who are calling Russia evil, they are certainly evil. So,
is Putin? Why is Putin? It could be the media twisting it, but why is he bombing the civilians?
Bombing civilians?
I'm just be getting away. Yeah.
If that's true that he's doing that, there are probably tactical reasons for doing that. It is a war. In war, civilians do get hurt. It's just reality. This is a man's world, and the globo homo types want everybody else to play patty cake while they alone can use rhetoric and propaganda to justify their use of force. And meanwhile, by the way, there's all kinds of wars and civilians getting killed and atrocities, if you will, and human rights violations, to use the communist buzzword, all over the world. We're only hearing about this because they want us to hear about this. And I don't know why or if he is getting civilians killed, or if you should blame, too, the Ukrainian so-called leadership and the so-called world leadership for encouraging Ukraine to fight a war that they can't possibly win. They should give up now and save their people, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Russia wants Ukraine because they used to be part of Russia, huh? Or they just don't want to go to NATO, and then that'd be more people against the Russians.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
So,
and but he's been saying we shouldn't don't do that. I don't want that to happen because that puts Russia at even more risk. Because Ukraine is not the least corrupt country. It's a pretty corrupt country from what I understand. Every bit as corrupt, if not more corrupt, than Russia itself, which Russia is supposedly also a corrupt country. But I know for a fact that the UN is evil and corrupt, and I know for a fact that the so-called U.S. leadership is evil and corrupt. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Everybody corrupt, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's sad. It's like people gather toward evil, man. I mean, like, no one's policing themselves no more, man. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. I guess people are attracted to evil, and like these black politicians, man, they don't do anything at all, man. To me, they go in there and try and be, even the black pastors, man, most of them have turned from leading souls to Christ to being social justice warriors.
Yep.
And I always tell them this: the number one way to fight police shootings is these black dads get home and raise their sons.
Yeah.
Because when boys are raised by their mother, they be emotionally men, and they overreact to everything. They can make a little hole into a mountain just by them overreacting and then not complying.
Yeah, I know.
And you never hear nobody discuss that. And I tell people that's social justice.
Yep,
and
it's
too easy to fix. And I don't even care to hear it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I appreciate it, Rick. It's nice to hear from you.
No problem. You too, James. Well, y'all have a good weekend, man. Y'all have a church Sunday?
Yes, we're back for Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. So join us, rebuildingtheman.com/church, Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel. I believe we're also going to premiere a men's conference segment from this past summer today at noon Pacific time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern, on Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel, which also streams church. So check that out if you have the time. Men's conference.
Go ahead, James.
That's the men's
yeah.
conference from last year.
How'd you like the APAC meeting y'all went to? Was it pretty good?
AFPAC was excellent. It was excellent.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you, Rick.
All right, love y'all. Be blessed.
Thank you. You as well. Take care.
Talk to y'all Monday.
All right. Some super chats, guys. I appreciate it. C-Sal, over there on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report, states, blaming gun makers for a shooting, such as the Newtown, Connecticut shooting, which took place, 2012 or 2013? 2013, I think. Is like it was like December 2012, I want to say. Is like blaming Toyota for the actions of a drunk driver. What? Yeah, exactly, C-Sal. Exactly. I totally agree. There was another comment. There were some other comments. Ragnar 0321 over there on Odyssey, ODYSEE. Just reading the chat here. It caught my eye. ODYSEE.com/@The Hake Report. He was parked, referring to Ahmaud Arbery, blah, 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 blah. He was parked in the middle of a playfield in that incident that I described, in which a cop not pulled him over, a cop rolled up to him and was like, what are you doing here? Parked in the middle of a playing field, according to Ragnar. It seemed certainly like a grassy area where a car does not really belong, that's for sure. I couldn't believe that video, Ragnar said. According to Ragnar, he was after the cop's gun the whole time. Every time the cop got distracted, he would make a move, even after the backup arrived. Unbelievably, there was no arrest. Just let him walk away after that. Those evil white cops. Crazy. So crazy. MK Ultra says, Putin is a thuggish dictator. Biden is a senile tool. And Zelensky is a vulgar comedian playing the part of a tough guy. Yeah, real tough, begging the globalist community for help, right? And is going to hurt his people. Already has, I think. What a mess. Pray for peace, he says. Messiah Seed says, Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas, James, please, read. Do your due diligence. What do you mean, Messiah Seeds? You talking about that evil liberal female who to this day is a shameless female professor somewhere? Who smeared, to this day, she's smearing the great Clarence Thomas, Justice Clarence Thomas, the one true justice on the Supreme Court, besides perhaps Alito and the late great, who's no longer there, the late great, what's his name? I don't know what you mean, Messiah Seeds, but I appreciate it. I've heard of her. She was an evil liar, a smearer, a messy woman who does not belong on the public stage or in a university, but yet there she is. Shows you the corruption of the universities, right? Surik asks, but who effects an arrest, especially a citizen's arrest for trespassing? The police usually issues a trespass warning to the perp before an arrest. Yeah, fair point, Surik. I think that they had reasonable suspicion, but in fact, I don't think that anybody had proof that Ahmaud did anything felonious, at least not that day. Anyway, guys, we are close to the top of the hour. Actually, can we play a couple of minutes before of this while I talk over it? This is anaphylaxis, guys. Anaphylaxis. Anaphylactic shock. That's when you can't breathe. It's I think it's a problem of, what is that when you say you touch grass, like grass on the ground, and then you break out in hives? It's kind of like what's that word? It starts with an A. I can't remember it. Allergy. I think it's a type of an allergy, anaphylactic shock, when you can't breathe. But anyway, anaphylaxis. The track is entitled Tomorrow's Heroine. It's track 3 on the compilation. He has 3 songs on this compilation. Describing Paranoia, 2003 album, or compilation from Parasomnic Records. Here's Anaphylaxis describing, tomorrow's heroin. Speaking of opioids, is heroin an opioid? I'm not sure. Speaking of white drugs, is that a white drug? Enjoy, and I'll talk you through it a little bit at the beginning, and maybe I'll take a break and then come back at the end. It's 6 minutes long, guys, so get ready. Grin and bear it. Press mute, you musical Philistines, but I'll talk you through it if you stay with me. Nice. Here it is. Can you guys hear it? It's nice. Somewhat peaceful. Trev D says, I'm allergic to Hake's music. And he's laughing about it. I really like Anaphylaxis and Holly Drift, by the way. No lyrics. Callers, bear with me. I will get back to you. Allergic, asthma. No, allergy, yes. Yeah, Scalia. Isn't this kind of pretty? Ashley in Facebook says, good choice in music, Hake. Thank you. She likes it. Nice. Yeah, heroin is an opiate. Tomorrow's Heroine by Anaphylaxis. You're gonna talk us through your auditory abuse? That just makes it worse. Says DJ on Pa. Sounds like Muslims' music. Yeah, true. I can hear it. Time to bow to Mecca. Bow to the east. No, it's not cult music, it's Christian music. Are they summoning the orcs in the Lord of the Rings? This music is how you get orcs. I like this peaceful section. I'll be right back, guys, to talk you through the rest. Enjoy for the rest of hour 2. Wasn't that nice? Wasn't that nice, guys? Satan music. No. Well, maybe. Space vacuum. Hake satanic music. I don't think that it's fair to call it satanic music. Well, I guess music is the language of the devil, right? If God listens to music, this is it. I guess it's not even music, it's noise, right? Better than any rap song, says Tom New. Come back and suffer with us, says Blark. Prometheus music, what is that? I like this one, Hake, says Willie Powell. Well, thank you, sir. I bet James had a black light in his room as a teen, says Radulaser. I did have a black light, but I never did the drug stuff, guys. This ain't fair, Hake. I did have a black light. I wonder how I got that. It was cool. It was one of those long tube ones. This music is very Catholic, says Broski Bear. Well, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for bearing with me through that. C-South says, I'm grateful for that mute button. Satan approves. Offensive, says George F. COVID the 19th. Well, again, I appreciate it. Why did I unmute, says Uncle Ted 88. Very funny. Okay, I got to get back to callers, guys. We are having a fun, loosey-goosey Friday show. 888-775-3773. I got to remember to cover up my beautiful rebel flag for the Twitch streamers on whose channels I will be a guest coming up here. But anyway, let me get to Chris, a first-time caller out of Atlanta, Georgia, wants to talk about blah, 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 blah. Ahmaud Arbery. Chris in Atlanta, thanks for calling. How are you?
James, what's up, brother? How you, man?
Fine, thank you.
That's good. You know, man, I wanted to talk about this Ahmaud Arbery case because although the case is about race, those three guys are not in prison for murder due to race. And let me just give you this scenario, James, and I want you to answer this, and all of your callers can answer this.
First, because you said something that may be distracting to some of the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
You said, although this case is about race, why do you say this case is about race?
It is about race because there are three white, what I refer to as thugs, in prison right now for the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Now, it is about race because they're white and he's black, but they're not doing life in prison because of race. And I'll give you a scenario of why.
I think that's technically true.
Yeah, I'll give you a scenario of why.
But they are, in a sense, in prison because of race. You're saying that they were motivated by race to go after Ahmaud Arbery?
No, I'm saying
just because they're white and he's black, therefore the outside lookers, those of us whose business this case is not, it's not our business.
People like you and I, James, we turn it into race, but they're not in prison because of race.
Right, they're in prison for so-called murder.
Yeah, I'll give you this quick scenario.
Okay.
If you and I, James, walked into a convenience store, let's say you and I are friends.
He called them thugs.
Let's
ahead.
just say you and I walk into a convenience store, you and I are friends. And while we're in there, this guy runs in, and he's jogging around, and he runs out. And you say, Chris, let's go. And I say, what are you talking about? You say, I think he stole a candy bar. All right? So we get in your truck, and we drive off, and we pull up next to him. And you, James, say, I want to talk to you for a minute, and he runs off.
Uh-huh.
You didn't take your truck and you block him off. You get out with your shotgun, and you say, let me talk to you, and you all start tussling with the gun.
Yeah.
All right? You then shoot the guy dead. The question is, did you murder him?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you did.
You think so?
Absolutely. And when the police officers get there and they say, well, James, why'd you shoot him? You say, I think he stole a candy bar.
No, that's not why I shot him.
He doesn't have a candy bar anywhere on him.
No, that's not why I shot him. If in your scenario, that's not why I shot him, because I think he stole a candy bar. Why I shot him is that he was fighting with me over the gun. That's why I shot him.
So
because he was fighting with you over the gun,
Right.
are you saying that you didn't murder him?
Right, because that would in that case that would be a mutual combat self-defense situation.
But self-defense is if he was coming towards you and he was endangering you in some way.
He
You
is
went towards
endangering
him.
me
You ran after
if
him.
he's fighting over the gun. Am I not endangered?
But you can't run after somebody, get into an altercation, and then scream self-defense.
I don't know if that's true. You may be right on that. That's a lot of the lawyers claimed. I don't know if that's true, man. You're making a statement. Like, you've made false statements already. You called those guys... I mean, you made specious statement, very suspicious. Because I don't think it's fair to call them thugs. Would you call Ahmaud Arbery a thug?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But
why do you call them thugs?
You remember the guy Rittenhouse?
Hold on. You can get to Rittenhouse later, but why would you call those three white guys thugs?
Well, they unjustly murdered a guy who was not stealing anything. They did not even know about his criminal past.
No, man. You said it's murder because they unjustly followed him.
They did.
Okay, why do you think that they unjustly followed him?
Because they're in prison right now. They unjustly followed him because he did not steal anything. You have to be able to justify why you're following someone. The guy, James, did not take anything. They thought that he was going to take something.
Right. Did they have reasonable suspicion about him committing burglary?
That's beside the point.
No. Did they have reasonable suspicion?
No.
No?
No.
What?
How did they have reasonable suspicion? Explain that.
Reasonable suspicion means this guy, any reasonable person would be suspicious of this guy, and the cops should stop him and talk to him.
Why were they suspicious of him?
Because they'd seen him in the community before acting suspicious.
How?
Because they'd seen him darting out of a house that didn't belong to him.
James, I go into model homes all the time in my community when I'm jogging and walking with my wife to look in newly built homes.
Do you dart out of the house all suspicious when somebody says, "Hey"?
Do I dart out of the house? Even if they do say,
No.
Hey,
Do you dart out of the house when somebody says, "Hey"? Because that's what he did.
So he darted out of the house because. So what should he
have
done? Somebody said, "Hey."
In a hurry, he darted out of the house.
So what should he have done?
So you're admitting you trespass in people's properties?
They have open model homes in my community.
That's open house, man. That's not what this situation was.
The home that he went in was open.
It was not an open house.
So he broke into the house, James?
He walked in through, I don't know, but it was not an open house. An open house.
The builder of the home.
Hold on, Chris.
Uh-huh.
From Atlanta, Georgia. An open house means we have our front door wide open. There's a realtor there, and you can walk in and peruse the model home. That's what an open house is.
That's not true, James.
Yes, it is.
An open house, if a house is being newly constructed, and the front door is open, that means you can walk in and look at the home.
Did he walk in the front door?
I don't know.
So then you're making claims it's not even true. He did not walk. One of the times he did not walk through the front door. He walked in some place and he darted out some other place. From what I understand.
What did he take, James?
Huh?
What did he take?
I don't know, but they had reasonable suspicion. That's my argument.
So you don't think that they should be in prison for murder because they had reasonable suspicion?
For one, it's not murder because he attacked him with the gun.
You cannot attack someone. If you go after someone, James, you cannot then say it was self-defense. In Carl Rittenhouse, that was self-defense because these individuals were coming after him.
Kyle Jack Bauer, John Wick Rittenhouse.
Yeah, Carl Rittenhouse, that was self-defense. They were coming after him. These three thugs
Are you saying Kyle or Carl? You have a southern accent, which is beautiful.
No, I'm saying Kyle. His name is Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yes. Okay.
Right. They were going after him. That's self-defense.
Right.
These three thugs were going after this black guy that they knew nothing about.
You know nothing about them, but you're calling them thugs.
No, they killed. They murdered.
And you don't know how much they didn't. You're calling it murder, but okay, I grant you maybe the situation that they set up was not ideal, ill-advised, right? They tried to do a citizen's arrest. This guy acted erratic and ran off, and they tried to.
James, You would not have done that. I'm talking to you
Correct.
specifically as an individual. You would not have gone after someone and then claim self-defense after you get into a tussle with someone, after you go after them. I mean,
But
why go?
Ahmaud is the one who went after, physically attacked Travis.
After they blocked him off with the truck. I mean, I would have done the same thing. If somebody pulls a gun on me,
Really?
Absolutely.
Then you don't value your own life, nor do you value the blacks who are acting erratic around armed men.
James, I've been shooting guns since I was 11 years old, going to the shooting range with my father.
Have you ever attacked a guy with a gun?
Have I ever attacked? No one has ever pulled a gun
Would you
on me while I had to make that
would you
decision without a gun.
encourage, knowing what you know about what happened to Ahmaud, would you have encouraged Ahmaud to attack Travis?
I probably would have.
Then you would encourage him to go to his death.
And I'm going to encourage those three thugs to be in prison for life.
So in other words, you want death and destruction.
Do I want death and destruction?
No, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. You want death and destruction.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You want Ahmaud to die, and you want those guys to go to jail for shooting him in my opinion, self-defense.
No, that's not what I said, James.
Yeah, you said I would encourage Ahmaud to do it, even though it would get him killed, and that way those white thugs would go to jail.
What do you think this guy Arbery should have done? If these guys approached him and said they want to talk to him, what do you think he should have done?
He should have stopped and talked to them.
Why?
Because it was an attempted citizen's arrest.
It was an attempted citizen's arrest. So does he have a right not to answer any questions from them?
Yeah. He can just stay with them and stay quiet.
Stay with them and stay quiet.
Yeah. Or he can try to run away. I suppose he can certainly try to run away. It's a free country.
Well, they blocked them off.
Then he should have stopped. They were armed. You're acting so ridiculous. You're acting just like him.
James, come on now. Are you serious? These three guys are three white thugs who deserve
You're making that claim,
be put in
but
front of a firing squad.
I dispute that claim. It's not a firing squad.
They should put those three white thugs in front of a firing squad.
No, you're ridiculous, Chris.
That's
You just
what
hate.
they should do
You hate
to
white
them.
people.
My mother's white, so how do I hate white
You
people?
hate your mother. You do. You're laughing all hard. Are you saying that you love your mother?
Do I love my mother dearly, James?
Do you love those three white, what you call thugs?
Do I love them?
Yeah.
No, I do not.
Then you don't love your mother. He's laughing too hard. They did not block him off, says Lord Red Skull.
They blocked him off, James. They blocked him off.
And that's what they were trying to do with which. In retrospect, it was ill-advised. But you can't admit that in retrospect, it was ill-advised for Ahmaud to go after an armed man and try to take his gun and punch that armed man in the face.
He did not go after him.
He did go after him.
They went after him.
They went after him, and then he went after him.
So, let me get this straight. So they got in their truck. So they went after him.
Yep.
And so then after they go after him, he says, "Well, now I'm going to go after you."
Yep.
Okay, so how can you say that was self-defense on the three thugs part?
Only one of those upstanding white men of the community committed that shooting in self-defense. The other two were onlookers at that point.
Okay, so
so Travis McMichael, a military veteran, military police veteran. An upstanding man of his community, looking out for his community.
Go ahead.
And he got attacked by this out-of-control black thug, Ahmaud Arbery.
He got attacked by him after they went after him.
Right.
Okay, so if you and I, James, together go after a guy on the street with a gun, and we start running after him, and then he turns around and he starts running at us.
Right.
We have a right to defend ourselves?
Yeah, because at that point, it's mutual combat.
But we were one that started it.
Yeah. They started it because they were trying to conduct a citizen's arrest.
For what?
For alleged burglary.
Alleged burglary.
Suspected
Just like
burglary.
the guy who allegedly stole a candy bar.
Man, we're going in circles. You're not even being reasonable. They were.
I'm just being
Did you know
very
that they
reasonable,
already knew Ahmaud Arbery? They had prior history with Ahmaud Arbery.
So what? What does that mean?
That they knew about this guy. They knew he was thuggish.
What does that mean?
They knew he was thuggish.
So what? So okay.
They knew he was a criminal. He had a criminal past.
But what does that have? What does a criminal past have to do with him and that?
They're
that
trying to
current
protect their
situation
community. He didn't belong in that community. He was jogging through it, which is fine. Right. But then he went into a house that he didn't belong in, and he got yelled at in that house.
Right.
And he darted away. They said, "Hey, we need to talk with you." Right. And they tried to do a citizen's arrest. Some say that citizen's arrest was not valid. So claim you. And you claim, therefore, it was murder. That's stupid.
And those 3 thugs are currently where, James?
They're in prison because they're white.
Exactly.
They're in prison because they're white.
They're in prison because they're thugs.
No, because the blacks...
And they're going to be there for life.
Because blacks like you hate justice.
And justice prevailed because the 3 thugs are currently in prison. Thank you, James. You're right. I agree.
You're a joke, man.
Take care, Big James.
Why aren't you serious? Why aren't you a serious person?
Because I'm very serious. The 3 white thugs are currently in prison where they belong.
How old are you?
How old am I? I'm 49.
Wow.
Absolutely.
No, it's not surprising, actually. I've talked with...
My mother's white and my wife is white.
I'm not surprised.
And my children are black.
I'm not surprised.
Well,
thank you, man.
Oh, take care, James.
Yeah, call me again sometime.
I sure will, brother. Take care.
All right, have a nice weekend. Wow, what a mess. It's so shameful. Let me get to John, a first-time caller in New Jersey. He also wants to talk about this. Oh, man, I don't even know why we're talking about this. John in New Jersey, thanks for calling. First-timer. What's up?
Hey, James. How you doing? Hope all is well.
All is well. Thank you.
I just got to say, man, I really enjoy your show. I've been hearing you at the Jesse shows for a while. And then I never really thought to tune in. And I'm so glad that I did your show. You're so funny, man. You got such a good show.
Cool. Thank you. Speak up for me, man.
Oh, okay.
And turn on the AC, please. AC. Go ahead.
Do you remember the guy Stefan Molyneux, the guy that he was on the phone state once?
Yeah.
Once, I think.
Stefan Molyneux interviewed Jesse Lee multiple times. Yeah. He's an atheist, but other than that, pretty reasonable philosopher guy.
Yeah, he put out a video on Arbery right before he got banned from YouTube and most of the internet.
Yeah.
And if I recall, the son and the father that got in that whole Arbery mess.
Yeah.
The dad was a cop.
Yep.
And had been involved in cases that Arbery had gotten himself involved in, like bringing a gun to a school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he was familiar with the kid, and it's crazy how nobody brings that up. And Stefan was talking about that. He also said something about, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That Arbery lived. It was like 13 miles round trip from his house. So you turn on the news and you hear, oh, this kid's just a jogger. And it's like, I highly doubt that kid was running 13 plus miles just for exercise. It's crazy. And then you hear Queen James, LeBron James react to it. Oh, a black man can't go out for a run in this country without getting shot. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like anytime you see people react like that, you know that they just don't have the facts.
Yeah. I mean, I could see if this guy was an innocent person, because I've driven up to Arcadia when I lived down in Temple City to take a jog or whatever. And so I've driven to Marshall Canyon out in Laverne, California, because you want to jog in a beautiful area. So it makes sense to try to jog in a beautiful area. But this guy, like you said, had a history, and he was also, even that same day, acting suspicious.
Yep.
And he wasn't jogging. He was trespassing.
Yeah.
And he was sprinting.
Like these 2 guys were just random guys. I'm not saying that anybody's right or wrong in the situation, but they make it sound like they must just share all the details. Like the dad knew of the kid from previous arresting illegal stuff that the kid did.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I knew that I knew I'd heard that they'd had prior run-ins. I didn't know that he knew about that incident. The one where he had to get chased by cops at that school 10 years prior or whatever, or 8 years, 7 years prior. What a mess.
Yeah, great. Well, that's all I wanted to say, man. I appreciate you having your show. I appreciate the opportunity to call in.
Yeah, call me again sometime, John. Take care.
Yeah, we'll do. Take care.
All right. Yeah. Stefan Molyneux. One of the marginalized whites. He was Canadian. Yeah, and he was a Christian-friendly atheist. I didn't know that he was 13 miles from home. Wow. And no, contrary to what that Joker guy who called in all chuckling, making everything, acting out as though everything was funny, calling the white men who were looking out there for their community thugs. And I don't know them. But contrary to what he said, you don't attack a guy with a gun if you value your life. You do not do that. And whites, don't get into these hairy situations with these out-of-control blacks if you value your freedom and life too. What a shame. Man. We are coming to the bottom of the hour. Before I get back to calls, guys. Man. Well, let me talk just a little bit about that Black Mama versus Ron DeSantis. If you didn't catch the Jesse Lee Peterson show or my show yesterday I played Ron DeSantis yelling at the kids. I say yelling because it was justified. It was fine. He's like, you guys, it's ridiculous. It's end of this theater. And then the mother of the high schooler who took it off and was smiling on video starts meddling mama where she doesn't belong. She says, it's just shocking that the governor of Florida told not college students, high school students, to take it off. And this young high schooler, Kevin Brown Jr., said, Governor DeSantis asked me to take it off, but I thought about it and it's my right. I don't know if he took his off or if that's a different guy, because one of the guys did not take his mask off. This guy, oh yeah, it is. This guy's dad said it's his choice, and the governor has no right to tell him or anyone they can or can't wear a mask. That's not what the governor did. The governor said, you can keep it if you want to, but he said, take it off. You can keep it on if you want to, but we got to end this theater. And that's what it is. It's theater. He said they don't do anything. I don't know if they don't do anything, but in this context, as far it's in terms of the way normal people speak, among high schoolers, out in the open, with this thing is waning. It's endemic now, as many say, or it's going into being endemic. It effectively does nothing. Effectively. It does a little. Maybe. Sometimes more harm than good. People wear and rewear these masks and touch them, and there are all kinds of stuff. Some say it does more harm than good. Developmentally and all that stuff, for younger kids especially. So silly. Mama. And so Mama got involved. And it's so interesting that the father said, I tell him it's his choice. She tells him he should do it. So the mama is the boss. I was about to applaud the black family for having the father and the mother together. But no, the father's weak. The father's pathetic. Shameful. You do not have to wear those masks. I mean, please take them off. Honestly, it's not doing anything, says DeSantis. And we got to stop this COVID theater. So if you want to wear it, fine, but this is ridiculous. Nice. Nice. And so here comes the blue check mark liberal on Twitter. Well, actually, highly protective masks, i.e. N95, KN95, KF94, provide protection against inhaling the coronavirus that causes hashtag COVID-19. So says this blue checkmark liberal that I happen to see. Matthew Cortland, JD, Juris Doctorate, they, them, chronically ill, they, them on Twitter. He has some chronic illness. Such a shame. The Florida Surgeon General, by the way, yesterday, Joseph Lapido, I think he's an immigrant black, went off about the masks. He's all, these are hard to find in Florida. People across the political spectrum, including doctors, think these things are saving lives. These are not saving lives. So said the Florida Surgeon General. By the way, I heard that Ron DeSantis' wife is cancer-free now. She had breast cancer, or she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I guess that she's cancer-free. So congratulations, and I wish you well, Ron DeSantis and your wife. Young wife, too, in her 40s, I think. Isn't Ron DeSantis only in his 40s? Wild. I'm going to talk about this Don't Say Gay bill, but I got to get to a call or two, guys. Let me get to Blazing Hogs in Dayton, Ohio. The night rider from the sundown town. Blazing Hogs in Dayton, Ohio. How are you?
Hola, sí,
Hey.
Senor Hake, sí.
Nice to hear from you, man.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot out there to talk about.
I know.
I've never been to an open house. I don't know how it is in Atlanta. Maybe that was Ahmaud Arbery's problem. He thought it was an open house.
I doubt that.
Huh? A half-built remodeled home with construction gear in it. Yeah, that's an open house. Come on in.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Did you see Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak get hassled by that guy when they went into that restaurant bar?
No, I did not. Was this recent?
Oh, it is so funny. Yes, it just happened like this past weekend or Monday or whenever. So a patriot, or Steve Sisolak, he's the Democrat governor of Nevada.
Yeah.
And he went into a restaurant bar, and this guy sees him, and he's like, "Hey, Steve Sisolak." He's like, "Get over here," or he gets up to him like they're going to take a photo op, and Steve Sisolak's all happy, and then he just starts calling him every name in the book. He's like, "You piece of crap," blah, blah, blah. And it totally, when you watch this video, it reminds me of Kid Rock and Joe Dirt. When he's like, "Get out of here, boy. You ain't wanted around here no more." So, of course, the news media, they turn it around saying he was saying racist threat. And he told him he was going to string him up by a light post for what he did with China and whatnot, or whatever. That guy did. And they got the news has just totally flipped it 180.
Right. Yeah.
So,
of course.
My question is, this is kind of like what Maxine Waters was saying to the other people, to the Democrats and the crazy liberals. And
Good
stuff.
point.
When you see people out there, blah, 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 well, here it is. A patriot stood up, and he said he didn't touch him or nothing, and that's what I like about the end. He was like, "I'm a patriot." He's like, "I'm a law-abiding patriot." And then his daughter come running up, and he's like, "Well, your kid's here now, so I'll let you go."
Wow. Interesting. Nevada Governor Steve
Next scene, he'll show it to you after the show or whatever. But,
yeah.
Whew, it was a good one. And I'm just asking you, what do you think about the Patriots doing that to the Democrat or Rhino politician?
It is. I don't know about that specific situation, so I can't really comment on it. There is. It's not unlike what you just mentioned with Maxine Waters saying, if you see anyone with this administration, you get out there and make a crowd and make a scene and let them know that they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. And that was Maxine Waters wanting to attack Trump and the Trump administration officials and anybody. I mean, seemingly that's what they're doing to Trump supporters too, honestly. They're evil people. I don't know.
So,
I don't know if he was doing it right or not. I haven't seen the video yet.
It was right in my mind. I loved it.
Nice. All right.
But I just wanted your opinion. If
There is a
Patriots do
time.
it
I mean,
again.
you do want to respect people's private space. They're eating dinner or whatever. But it was in a. I guess they're standing up or something. Were they standing? I don't know.
Yeah, they just walked in, and he's like, "Oh, you ain't got no security with you, boy." I love when he calls him boy. Boy, get on out of here, boy, just like Joe Dirt. Oh, it was funny.
And
So
this
you'll
guy,
have to check
Steve
that out.
Sisolak, he has an Asian wife from
Oh
Asia.
yeah, they threw that in there because he said something about his dealings with China,
Right.
and he's being racist.
Give me a break. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, check that out.
Well, I appreciate it.
And
It's the typical anti-white mainstream media turning everything turning everything against the whites. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a Friday, hoop and hollering, fun Friday. I just want to call in and give that.
Well,
And,
thank
hey,
you, man. Thank you for the tip.
If Trump does come back, I will vote for him, but he ain't coming back.
You don't think so?
He's not coming back, folks,
Why do you say that?
because life's too easy now. He's not going to get back into the lion's den like that and go through all that stuff again. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
It's
hold
going to
it.
be,
Go ahead.
I'd say it's going to be DeSantis or somebody else, but I'd like to just see another non-politician like Trump, somebody out of the blue again.
It would be nice to have some people come out of the blue. You never know. It's sometimes a surprise who becomes solid, like Trump did, and who who folds.
I'm glad we got to witness it, but you
Yeah.
know, at the same time, it's going to take an act of God to rip this stump out of Washington D.C. bad.
Yeah, I think that we need to infiltrate, if you will, to use the communist word, the local politics, and just grow from there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Yep. Have a great one. We'll talk to you later.
All right. You as well. Take care. Man. Let me quickly get to Eric. Oh, hold on. Let me quickly get to Eric from Selma, Alabama. Eric, how are you doing?
Yes, sir. It is he. It is he. All is well, sir.
Nice. It's great to hear from you.
Yeah, man. I wanted to, respond to what you and JLP was talking about about Breonna Taylor. The call they called in and stuff.
Oh yeah, Breonna Taylor. I call her blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, her boyfriend shot at the cops, and the cops shot back, and she got killed.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And also on video, on body cam, after she got killed, I seen the body cam footage. He was crying, asking the police, "Why did y'all shoot her?" And the police asked him, "Why did you shoot at us?" And he said and the boyfriend said that she the one shot. She's laying in there dead.
Yeah.
And her drug dealer boyfriend in there lying on her deathbed, lying on her and through death. And he the one shot her. He blaming it on her to save his own butt. So he didn't care about that girl.
So that got on video. I remember reading.
I seen it.
I remember reading that initially he told one of the officers that that she shot at them and it wasn't him. And then later, I don't know, I guess he admitted that it was him. Isn't that interesting? That's what made me wonder, I wonder if it was her who shot and then he took the fall or for some odd reason. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was him who shot. It's my guess.
Yeah, it's just a mess. These young women, they don't need to be dealing with these street guys and all that. And plus, her first boyfriend, the guy was before that, he's a murderer. She rented a car out that rented a car with in her name, and he killed somebody in that car.
Really?
So, like,
I know
yes.
that vehicle. I heard that rental car had a dead body in it or something, or it was involved in some way in a homicide. I know that her ex-boyfriend, the actual drug dealer who was involved in this drug ring, and I guess she was still helping him, or at least allegedly. He made the claim, according to former Officer Brandon Tatum, that had he been with her, she would be alive to this day because he doesn't shoot at cops.
To this day.
Yeah.
So,
To this day.
so he's a more competent criminal than her boyfriend, who was sleeping with her or going to sleep with her or whatever.
Yeah, what a mess. Like,
Yeah,
that's
so
why these young women just stop. I just want to tell the young women out here, like, because I was one of the guys that used to run the streets and do bad stuff. Guys like that, they don't care about you.
Yeah.
They don't love you. Ain't no love in the streets. They going to some place where you only get jail or death. So they have no love in them at all. But that's what's like propagated in social media. Oh, get with these guys. They get fast money, this and that. And I've done some bad stuff for money. And I had more girls then, but now since I didn't calm down, I didn't stop being much of a, you know what. And this and that. But
nice.
yeah, man. They just need a man. Women, y'all get with a man that loves God more than he loves you, and that man will love you and your children.
Nice.
That's what I wanted to say. So, cause
great message, Eric.
We have no love. Us human beings, we have no love. For us to get love, we have to go to the source, which is God. So, if you want to get true love, go to God, and then it comes down from God through Jesus, through the man, then the woman, then the children. That's the order. JLP said it best.
Yeah.
You know? So that's all I wanted to say. Get that off my chest on Friday. And I want to quickly say something to Chris from Atlanta. Dude, you hate white people, so that means you hate your white mother. Like, he's a mutt. You too black for your white side of the family. You're too white for your black side of the family. So he's just all confused. Like, you got to stop mixing the races, man. Black women make babies with black men like your black father. White women go make babies with white men and stuff like your white fathers. Like, come on. Like, stop mixing the races. Is better to, like, it's a reason God made black people, white people, Chinese people, Mexicans. People need to repopulate their own people.
Right.
But they want to, like, do this and that and mix races and all that. But, hey, it is what it is. I still love the mixed babies.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But we got to, like, get back to the standards of the old way of women. Like, the women come out with the cheeks out. Well, they look good that way with the cheeks out in public, but it's not modest at all. You know, it's not good. We need to set different standards for the public now, because we need to go back to the way it was. But that's all I wanted to get off my chest. Hey, the great one, you're on fire. I'm going to be watching your debates, man.
Nice.
Later today.
Thanks for the support, Eric, and I appreciate the wisdom. Take care.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right. Wow. So we're at 15 minutes till. I got to get to the calls, but first, let me show you this situation with the Don't Say Gay bill. You know, the blind brainwashed minions are, I say minions, is that even the right, does that even do it justice? These just mob army of, like I said, blind brainwashed, they're not kids, they're minors. The far left Twitter was trending the hashtag Stand with Jack. According to, and they were promoting a bunch of blue checkmark liberals on Twitter, enemies of the children, enemies of the men, enemies of the mothers, although the mothers fall for this more quickly. Rachel Hyman Mercator said student organizers of Florida's Don't Say Gay school walkout suspended from Flagler School. And I have this clip 11A, from this mainstream media article, News Journal Online. It's from the Daytona Beach News Journal Online. It's affiliated with the USA Today, I think. This clip, minute and a half clip, it has some jump cuts in it of this protest. Hopefully it's all clean. I don't know. I felt like I might have heard some cuss words, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't bleep it out. So Sorry, kids. Cover your ears. But this is pretty vulgar. Don't say gay, Flagler, Palm Coast High School, walk out. You'll see this guy with a bullhorn who looks like I don't want to say it, but he doesn't seem morally straight. Zombies, says Lord Red Skull. You'll see this guy with the bullhorn, or you'll hear him with the bullhorn over the din of these mostly female, by the way, and high-pitched male voices. With their rainbow flags, radical homosexual agenda supporters protesting this bill. And this bill is called the Parental Rights in Education bill or whatever, and it would prevent teachers from discussing so-called sexual orientation, sexual disorientation, and gender misidentity with children in 3rd grade or younger, by the way, without parental consent. Parents get to decide on it, not the government, so claims Jose for Florida, who's running for office. He's another blue check mark, but he's not as liberal, apparently. Not teachers and certainly not high schoolers. So this Jack Petocz, Petocz, I don't think that he's a Christian. He told this news journal that he'd been suspended until further notice pending investigation after this walkout by dumb high schoolers supporting the gay agenda against the Christians in the government trying to protect the parents and the children. Listen to this madness going on from the other day. And this Jack Petocz is the guy who got, I guess, suspended for shouting on the bullhorn. Listen to this mess. Listen to this madness of the evil kids. Here it is. Terrible. Look at all those. When you see the mob like that, you know it's wrong.
Stop policing our education!
Huh? Stop policing our education? Girls screaming.
From saying gay, from discussing sexual orientation, and coercing staff into outing students. Thank you all for coming out today. Administration is trying to stop us. We will say gay.
We will say gay. They want to talk about so-called sexual orientation. Embracing their oppressors. Say gay, they were saying.
They're stopping us, so we do have to head back to class, everyone. But thank you.
Yeah.
Meaningful demonstration. I'm so proud of every single one of you.
See, he doesn't seem morally straight. Say gay. They're waving gay pride flags, so-called gay pride flags. No such thing. Pride in your own destruction. The youth is destroyed. Yeah. This woman, Janelle Sophia, said, I hashtag stand with Jack. It was trending on Twitter, or at least Twitter, the far left publisher Twitter, put this in their trending article because they support the self-destruction of the kids. They're evil. I hashtag stand with Jack, says this Janelle Sophia. I have a few of these on screenshots. I have like so many screenshots though. But these are blue check marks on Twitter. Janelle Perez for state senate out of Florida. She's a she/her, a mom, wife, activist, business owner, cancer survivor. Maybe she's a lesbian. I don't know. Because she's flying that gay agenda flag, running to be your Florida state senator in Miami-Dade. I stand with Jack and all those fighting to be seen, respected, and loved for who they are. You don't know what love is, evil woman? And then she posts a picture of these evil people in a group pic on some steps. I guess that's her office or something like that. Bunch of males and females, adults, supporting the destruction of the children. This woman, Carrie Holman, she showed that rainbow, she showed an actual rainbow. After seeing the damage the Don't Say Gay bill is kicking up in Florida, I ran out for errands. This is what I saw. Literally the brightest rainbow I've ever seen. No filter, no touch-up. Hashtag stand with Jack. That's not what that means, woman. That's God's promise that he won't destroy the earth over the degeneracy that people like you are pushing. What an evil person. Equality Florida, you know that's not morally straight. No such thing as equality. Equality Florida, securing the full equality for Florida's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community. Those are not communities. Families are communities. The gay so-called pride rainbow flag is horizontal and all those multicolored things. That is very different from the actual natural rainbow, by the way. Don't Say Gay censorship has arrived, says Equality Florida. Jack Petox has been suspended indefinitely for distributing pride flags because those are vulgar. I have another clip, by the way, of this evil mob chanting their evil chants. Clip 11B from Fatkuya. Some student, I guess. There's no reason Jack should have got suspended. Our protest was peaceful and he did nothing wrong. They should have suspended the ones who were choking people out for carrying a flag. Jack is not responsible for the violence that happened. Hashtag say gay. So wrong. Listen to this clip and watch if you dare. Cover your ears, kids. Awesome. Look at that male with a mask. Terrible. Dumb kids. So wrong. Charlotte Clymer is I think that this Charlotte Clymer person calls Charlotte Clymer self writer, lesbian, veteran, Hoya, whatever that is, she. I think that it might be a male to female transgender calling himself a lesbian. What a mess, huh? Florida high school student Jack Petox has been suspended for distributing pride flags. Those are vulgar. Those are evil. Very nice. Right on to the high school for doing that. High schoolers are suspending and sending home students for wearing NRA t-shirts, which are valid. It's actually in the Constitution, the Second Amendment. How about let's suspend them for promoting degeneracy and self-destruction by way of the LGBT agenda. Another blue check mark on Twitter. Reshma Gupas, who used to work for Planned Parenthood, you know, the abortion mill, said, so Florida is run by hateful monsters. Cool. Stupid. And, by the way, Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill, that's the parental rights in education bill, HB 1557. They do not want that to pass. They hate parents, they hate kids. This last one, blue checkmark liberal, Reverend Chuck Curry. I think that this guy has said that he won't come on the Jesse Lee Peterson show years ago, and he even wrote a blog post about it and has reposted it multiple times. I'm a Christian minister, and I hashtag stand with Jack and all those working for equality. Discrimination is incompatible with the teachings of Jesus. Wrong. Who welcomed all to the table. That's not what the issue is. And he said, hashtag say gay, and he put out a rainbow emoji. What a sicko, huh? If I'm not mistaken, Chuck Curry, Jesse Lee Peterson. Let me just see. Oh, yeah, it is him. He did this blog back in 2010. Before I was producer. I think I invited him on later. But he was contacted to join the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and he put out this blog post about why I won't do it, sharing Jesse's quotes that are based about Barack Obama hates white people, especially white men. True. And many other things. Born a Democrat, but I had no values, Jesse Lee said. But the Democrat platform is anti-God, anti-values, anti-American. Very true. And if he said, Jesse Lee also said, if whites were to leave the United States and let blacks run the country, they would turn it into a ghetto within 10 years. Well, he gave blacks too much credit, Jesse said. It took a mere 3 days for blacks to turn the Superdome. After Hurricane Katrina, you know, the blacks went into the Superdome and that convention center. They turned that into ghettos with theft, rape, and murder. Murder? Wow, I didn't know that. Remember after Hurricane Katrina, Kanye West is all, George Bush doesn't care about black people. And he was right. George Bush doesn't care about anybody. He voted, I don't even think he voted for Trump. W. Bush. But the blacks down in what was that? New Orleans. After the Hurricane Katrina, the levees broke. They didn't evacuate because they were waiting for the government to take care of them. And so this guy made this big show, Reverend Dr. Chuck Curry. And he's not even black. But he calls himself Reverend Doctor. So that's the one purportedly white Reverend Doctor I've ever heard of. What a mess. Oh, man, let me quickly get to Fresh Prince in Maryland. We got less than a minute to go. Fresh Prince in Maryland. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you doing, James? No, I don't have much time, but I just wanted to bring people's attention back to the case in Florida, the Michael Dredschka case, where he shot, he was shoved from behind, and then he shot the man. I think that's been really swept under the rug. Everyone's been talking about the Arbery
Your
case.
phone is kind of messed up. Michael what case?
Michael Dredschka in Clearwater, Florida. Happened like a couple of years ago.
Had not heard of that.
It was the one where his wife was inside the store. The guy's wife was inside the store. The wife was in the car. The man was in the store, and then he came out, pushed the white guy, and then the white guy kind of shot him.
Oh.
So I just encourage
it
people
sounds
to look
vaguely
that one up.
familiar. Did that case go through the court or something?
It did, and Dredschka, the shooter, was actually, found guilty, which, if you look at the video, he was clearly acting in self-defense. So I just encourage people to take a look at that on YouTube. The whole thing's on video.
All right. Well, thank you, Fresh Prince. It's good to hear from you, man. Take care.
Man. Take care.
All right. Art in Ohio and the rest of the callers, I cannot get to you. Art, man, I apologize. Let me just double check for any last super chats. There are some. Bring back bullying, says Brandon M. Indeed. And, gosh, your girlfriend says, if you're half and half with a white parent and a white spouse, then your kids are darn near white. You can't have it both ways anymore. Referring to one of my earlier calls. Hey, you should have an afternoon show and try to work in some sponsors so maybe God would bless you monetarily, says Kyle B. Noah's Ark, Kansas. All I have to say about it is that a guy is dumb, evil, stupid idiot. Sorry, kids. Well, thank you, guys. Catch you later this afternoon and evening and this weekend if you want to catch me on the thehakereport.com/appearances. Anchor Baby's new show today as well, and Bond YouTube channel, a premiere from the men's conference. The first time the ladies get to see it, I guess. And of course, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. We're back, guys. Thanks. Take care.